You are watching your little furry friend dash across their cage full of life and boundless energy, when suddenly, they stop dead in their tracks. They freeze completely, transforming into a tiny, furry statue without a single blink or twitch, staring blankly into space. It is a bizarre sight that leaves many pet parents wondering if time itself has just paused for their pet, or if something is terribly wrong. Welcome back to the hamster sphere, your ultimate guide to understanding the quirky secret lives of our favorite pocket-sized companions. If you want to decode the mystery behind these fascinating behaviors and learn how to build the ultimate stress-free sanctuary for your pet, make sure to subscribe before you leave. Today, we are deep diving into the quiet, hidden world of hamster psychology to figure out exactly what is happening inside that brilliant little brain when they suddenly pull the emergency brake. Stay with us until the very end of our journey, because understanding the final, surprising state of absolute stillness is the absolute key to making sure your pet feels safe and comfortable in your home. To truly understand why your furry companion suddenly turns into a living statue, we have to look closely at how they perceive the world around them. Unlike us, these tiny creatures navigate their surroundings with a very unique set of tools, and their eyesight happens to be their weakest asset. In fact, their vision is incredibly poor, leaving them living in a soft, blurry world where sharp details simply do not exist. To compensate for this, nature has gifted them with an extraordinarily sharp sense of hearing and a highly sensitive nose. When you accidentally flick on a bright light, open a door, or introduce a completely new scent into their room, it sends a sudden wave of sensory data rushing to their brain. To process this sudden influx of information, they instantly pull their emergency brake and freeze. You will often see them rise up gracefully on their hind legs, stretching their tiny bodies as high as they can, while their ears stand completely straight and rigid, like miniature radar dishes. In this exact moment, they are not broken or malfunctioning. They are actually concentrating with absolute focus. They are sniffing the air currents and straining their ears to catch the faintest vibrations, carefully analyzing their environment to determine whether this new change brings a hidden danger or if it is just their human moving around the room. This brings us directly into the deep, ancient roots of their evolutionary history and a powerful biological mechanism known as the fear response. In the wild, our little friends are prey animals, which means they are constantly on the radar of larger predators who hunt primarily by tracking movement. Because a sudden dash across an open space would immediately give away their location, their bodies have developed a brilliant, automatic defense system. The very second they are startled by a loud bang, a sudden shadow passing over their enclosure, or an unfamiliar handling experience, their tiny adrenal glands instantly flood their system with stress hormones like adrenaline. This chemical surge triggers an involuntary biological freeze, locking their muscles in place so they can seamlessly blend directly into their background and become invisible to any watching eyes. When the fright is particularly intense, they will even deploy a few highly specialized survival tactics that can look quite dramatic to an unsuspecting owner. They might tightly close their eyes and pull their limbs inward, pretending to be completely lifeless in a desperate attempt to look uninteresting to a predator. Alternatively, they might drop instantly into what experienced keepers affectionately call the pancake mode. During this state, they flatten their entire bodies completely against the floor, remaining as still as a carved stone statue for 20 or even 30 minutes at a time. Their eyes may stay wide open, staring intently, but their minds are completely locked away in survival mode. You could gently stroke their fur, or lightly touch their paws during this deep freeze, and they will not offer a single flinch or reaction, as their entire being is entirely dedicated to maintaining the illusion of absolute stillness until they are absolutely certain the invisible threat has passed. This intriguing state of sudden stillness often catches pet parents completely off guard during the late-night hours, especially right after a burst of high-intensity exercise. You might be watching your little companion sprinting with incredible speed on their exercise wheel, their tiny legs moving so fast they become a blur when they abruptly slam on the brakes, step off the track, and freeze. They sit completely motionless, their bodies locked in place while their eyes lock onto a single point in the room, staring blankly into the empty space ahead. To a worried owner, it looks as though your pet has suddenly completely forgotten what they were doing, or perhaps experienced a sudden glitch in their programming. In reality, what you are witnessing is a fascinating physiological delay caused by the physics of their favorite toy. When a small animal runs at peak velocity, the exercise wheel builds up a massive amount of momentum, continuing to spin rapidly even after the runner has come to a complete halt. Because their tiny bodies are moving so fast, their internal balance systems and their rapid heart rates are operating at maximum capacity. When they suddenly step away, the external world appears to keep spinning around them due to the residual motion of the wheel and the intense rush of blood to their brain. Their sophisticated little minds require a few crucial moments to finally catch up with this abrupt change in velocity. By freezing completely still and staring into the distance, they are allowing their internal gyroscope to reset, giving their brain the necessary time to recalibrate their vision, process their current physical location, and safely regain their bearings before they resume their nightly adventures. It is equally important to recognize that this dramatic freezing behavior does not always stem from a place of fear, confusion, or sensory overload. There are many peaceful moments throughout the night when your companion will enter what can best be described as a natural, relaxed idle mode. Just like humans who occasionally find themselves daydreaming out a window or pausing mid-sentence to simply stare into space, these small creatures have a rich internal life that requires quiet moments of mental downtime. You might observe them halfway through eating a favorite seed, or right in the middle of grooming their soft fur, when they suddenly pause all movement and become perfectly still. Their muscles are not tense, their ears are not standing up like rigid radar dishes, and their eyes lack the wide, panicked stare of a frightened animal. Instead, their posture is completely soft, elongated, and relaxed, occasionally even flattening out into a comfortable resting position right where they stand. In these serene moments, they have simply switched off their active exploring mind to enjoy a brief mental vacation, entering a deeply tranquil state to rest their bodies and soak in the absolute peace of a quiet, familiar environment. They are completely content, feeling entirely secure enough in their surroundings to let their guard down and simply drift away into a momentary daydream without a single worry in the world. This beautiful, quiet stillness beautifully transitions us into our final realization as pet parents, revealing how we can best support our companions when they enter these deep states of absolute immobility. When you see your hamster completely frozen like a carved stone statue, it can be incredibly tempting to reach out, gently shake them, or loudly call their name to make sure they are perfectly fine. However, doing this can cause severe psychological distress, shattering their natural coping mechanisms and triggering an intense spike in their anxiety. As we have journeyed through their secret world today, discovering how they use their ears like radar dishes to map out a blurry environment, or how they flatten into a delicate pancake for 30 minutes to hide from invisible predators, a profound shift happens in how we view their quietude. We begin to understand that this dramatic silence is not a medical emergency or a sign of a broken heart. Rather, it is a magnificent testament to their ancient survival instincts and their deeply complex sensory world. The apparent emptiness of their movement is not a lack of life, but a protective shield, an intentional pause that allows them to process a world that can often feel completely overwhelming to a tiny creature. Now that you know the hidden science behind the freeze, you hold the absolute key to building a true sanctuary for your pet. The absolute best thing you can do during these frozen moments is to simply grant them the gift of time and undisturbed space. Step back, lower the lights, keep the room completely peaceful, and let them naturally find their bearings at their own gentle pace. By understanding and respecting these silent moments, you are transforming your home into a beautiful space where they never have to live in fear. Thank you so much for exploring the wonderful, mysterious depths of hamster psychology with us today. I would love to hear about your own experiences, so please let me know down in the comments below if your furry friend has ever turned into a tiny, motionless statue right in front of your eyes, and how long their mysterious freeze lasted.